Good afternoon. Join with me as we sing together. I am a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. Yes, I can feel in the darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright, love so bright, as God's light. Yes, I can feel in the darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. You are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. Yes, you can feel in the darkness as you recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, you can feel in the darkness as you recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. We are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibilities. Yes, we can feel in the darkness as we recall. We are a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, we can feel in the darkness as we recall. We are a point of light in the light of God. And I know you love this one. Yeah. Come on, stand with me. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God, watch out now, appears. Yeah. I am grateful, so grateful this day for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yeah, that the love of God, that the love of God, come on out with me, that the love of God is here. Yeah.
All right, Penelope, rocking us out this afternoon. Yes, yes. We know who the musician in the house is. Good afternoon, Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm Jean Bell. I'm the associate minister here. My pronouns are she and her, and I am so glad that you are with us today. If you're viewing on Facebook or YouTube Live, please like and share this broadcast so we can continue to spread the good news of New Thought out into the world. I'm going to do the affirmation. I'm going to read all the way through it. And please remember, after service, there will be practitioners available for you to treat and pray with. So please avail yourself to them. They have went to school for so many years, and they want to know a greater truth for and about you. Yes? All right, I'm going to read this through, and then I'm going to invite you to say it with me. I go within to connect with my power, my source of power. I have the power, power to heal, power to feel, power to reveal. I am the power. With each breath, I awaken my inner power to release all that no longer serves me, making space for joy. Oh, yes, I like this. Making space for joy, wholeness, and transformation. By communing daily with the indwelling presence, I access the power to come forth into the world with increased inspiration, compassion, and courage. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. All right, we're going to say this together. I'm going to slow it down, but we'll say it together. I go within to connect with my source of power. I have the power, power to heal, power to feel, power to reveal. I am the power. With each breath, I awaken my inner power to release all that no longer serves me, making space for joy, wholeness, and transformation. By communing daily with the indwelling presence, I access the power to come forth into the world with increased inspiration, compassion, and courage. And so it is. Yes. Now, I have my own announcements before we ask Jericho to come up. I want to tell you a little bit about the MacArthur Fellowship. The MacArthur Fellowship is awarded to extraordinarily talented and creative individuals as an investment in their potential. At the heart of the MacArthur Fellowship program is its aim to identify extraordinarily creative individuals with a track record of excellence in a field of scholarship or area of practice who demonstrate the ability to impact society in significant and beneficial ways through their pioneering work or their rigor of their contribution. Everyone in SLCA, please join me in congratulating Jericho Brown, a 2024 MacArthur Fellow. Jericho, come up, please.
I was not expecting that. Thank you very much. It's a live stream. How could you do this to me? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Thank you. Thank God. Thank you, Reverend Jean. You're so kind. Thank you. I love you, Penelope, so much. Thank you. Thank y'all. Okay, I'm going to give you the announcements. My name is Jericho Brown. My pronouns are he and him, and I serve on the creative arts team as well as the SLCA Board of Directors. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR code found on your monitor. SLCA member Doris Shannon, I think she's outside greeting people. She needs your help for an exciting new class titled Conversations with Your Mind that she will offer in 2025. Join Doris in the social hall today at 5 o'clock to be a part of this special focus group. For more information, connect with Doris today after service. Visioning is vital to the sustainability of SLCA. Next Sunday at 5 p.m., SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins, Tony's here, hi Tony, he gave me some tissue earlier. Tony Jenkins will step in for Reverend Jean and lead our community in a vision for SLCA. This opportunity takes place every second Sunday, and we would love for you to join in. Every second Sunday, you have an opportunity to fellowship and vision together about this center. Isn't that exciting? Yes. This past week, we put out a call for assistance to those in need from devastation that Hurricane Helene left behind. I am happy to announce that SLCA members across the nation came together and raised over $11,000. That's a big deal. We were able to send much needed supplies to those in Asheville, North Carolina, as well as Augusta, Georgia. The need is still great, So if you would like to donate to this cause, please select the Hurricane Relief Fund on Breeze. So you can click Hurricane Relief Fund on the Breeze site. Right now, if y'all don't mind, I just want to see all well. I understand all is well on this earth all the time. And no matter what we have done or what we might do to this planet, we are a part of this planet. And so anyone who is experiencing anything that is not with that knowing, we dismiss that right now. And we understand that this planet is ours and we share it with other beings as well, and we are grateful for that. And anyone underwater right now, we see them well and we see the water dry. Voting is not only our right, but our obligation. Your vote matters. My. It has come to our attention that some registered voters in Georgia have somehow suddenly become unregistered. We have even had those in our community that have been affected by this. Scan the QR code on the screen to see if you are still listed as an active voter. Please check your voting status. We don't want you to go to the polls and be upset and find out that you have somehow been dropped. Not really somehow been dropped, but I'm not gonna get into that. Check frequently in the weeks leading to the election to confirm you are still listed as active. So you wanna check this as frequently as possible to make sure that you're available, that you can vote. This is just a reminder that tomorrow is the last day to register to vote. Tomorrow's the last day that you can register. Please tell your friends to register. The more people, no matter what you believe, the more people who vote, the better. And so we want more people voting. We want to know what this nation thinks completely. Breath of Life reunites arts management John and Kathy Stringer with Big Globe Productions, Brian and Ann Pregrossi, to co-create a daytime event on Saturday, October 26th at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta at 2 p.m. that combines the power of rebirthing breathwork with the creative joy and expression of a full band concert. Wow, it's gonna be fun. To register or find out more information, please scan the barcode on this screen. I have a couple more announcements, but before I give those, I want to welcome to stage for a very, very special announcement. I want to welcome to the stage our board member, Elizabeth Garrity. Come on up for our next very special announcement. This is very important. You have a, yeah.
All set? First, I want to hug a genius.
You're sweet.
So proud of you. Welcome, everyone. Elizabeth Garrity. Grateful to be a board member here. My pronouns are she, her, and I am really excited about our event. Look at this fabulous picture of Eddie Watkins in his gorgeous white suit. So this is Saturday, November 2nd. I know you've heard me say this before, but I'm not stopping until that concert comes. So Saturday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. I've actually brought my laptop today, so that anyone who, I have a great list of people to call, and if you'll all meet with me afterwards while we're enjoying some good food, to let me know if there's anyone in particular you want to call that person, and we'll get you connected and make sure you have all the right information. So that's for Saturday night, and if you liked what Penelope is playing today, I think you're gonna love that concert, right, Penelope? With your opening music? Okay, and then the next day, Eddie will also be joining us in our service, and we'll also get to celebrate Reverend Dr. David Alexander for 20 years as a minister with SCL. It's so funny, it took me so long to say SLCA. Now it's hard to say CSL, thank you. And also our 45th anniversary. So join with me later. I'm looking forward to gathering as a great team, and we're gonna make this just a fabulous night.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Y'all please work with Elizabeth. Pray for her, but also assist her physically. She is taking on a large task, organizing that beautiful weekend that she explained to you for our 45th anniversary, our homecoming weekend. bring your friends. If you see anybody who you can bring, just, you see somebody walking, ask them to come. But also, if you have been coming in and out of SLCA for a long time and there's anybody you missed, this is a good opportunity to bring them back, to ask them to come, to check on them and see how they are, and to see them here with us together again. My final announcement today is that today is Reverend David Dr. Alexander's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Reverend David, we thank you. We thank you for your dedication to this teaching and for all you do in creating a world that works for everyone. Join us after service in the social hall for cake as we celebrate Reverend David. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you all. And thank you, Reverend David. Happy birthday. We are so glad you were born. We are so glad you were born. Oh my God, look at that. Look at what got born. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Jericho. Yes, keeping that joy alive as we move into prayer. Open your mind. Unfold your heart. Relax your senses. Feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
All the words that have been said here today, the words that have been sung, the expressions of our divine nature, I know that this is true. I know in my heart of hearts this is true, but sometimes I don't feel particularly spiritual or bathed in that knowledge. And I can criticize myself and wonder what's going on. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how I am feeling at the moment, if I am having those human emotions, those ego thoughts perhaps, that is not my truth. When I see devastation, when I see hurt, when I see pain in the world, when I experience it myself, that is not my truth. I go to a greater knowing that even if at the moment I don't feel like it, I can live like it is so because it is so. And when I go back into knowing it is so, the feelings come. When I see things in my world that are upsetting, I remember that I need to back up and take a greater view. I need to ask myself, what do I need to know here? And what do I need to act upon from this knowing? So that I stay centered in the truth and I live from that truth. And I look around and see, where in the world can I contribute? Sometimes, some of us may not feel like we have much to contribute, but we always do. If it's a smile, that can be more than enough for some people. If it's a greeting, if it's a thoughtfulness of some type, bringing a meal or a book or just calling someone, there's always something we can give. Perhaps it's monetary, perhaps it's volunteering to set up this service. Whatever it is, there is always something we can give. And I will not go to the level of desperation and desolation that some people want to sink to, saying, ain't it awful? I know it's not awful. It simply is circumstances of the moment, and I know something greater. And I know that when I least feel like knowing it, when I want to go into that place. But there is always something within me that lifts me, that holds me, that reminds me of the truth. And when I cannot go into that place for a moment, someone always helps me by knowing something greater for me. And I know that what I have learned through being in this teaching since 1985 has changed my life for the greater, that I have greater love, greater capacity for receiving and giving, greater opportunities than ever before. I have more peace. I have more joy. And I am so thankful for what I have learned here and for the people that work, especially behind the scenes, to bring this service to fruition week after week and going out all over the world through the internet. I'm grateful for the people who give up time with their loved ones that they give here for our services and our service. So no matter what I feel, I am centered in the grace and the glory of what I call God. I know something, no matter what my feelings are, that always carries me. I am buoyed by this notion, this knowing, this solid part of me that never wavers, no matter my feelings. So I know this for all of us within the sound of my voice today and beyond. There is something that upholds each and every one of us, that brings us greater opportunity, greater knowing, greater possibilities. I give thanks for this knowing. With a grateful heart, I simply say, aloha, blessed be, amen, shalom. Because it is so, I simply say, and so it is.
You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. 'Cause I think I have been there too, and I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
Lighting the flames of faith. A call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We recognize the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We recognize the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of the primal spirituality. We recognize the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We recognize the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We recognize the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We recognize the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We recognize the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We recognize the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We recognize the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we recognize the healing candle, please put silently in the light the name of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Beautiful. Good afternoon. It's a good day to be in community together, yes? Yes. Take a deep breath. Grateful for your presence and our presence here together today, as well as everybody watching online and on Facebook. This is our time of offering. It's our time to share and circulate and be in that flow. It's a time to not only recognize those of us who are monthly contributors, who have it all automatically set up in our bank account to come out at a particular day, a particular time, a particular amount. Thank you so much if you're part of that community. There's always laminated pledge cards you can pick up when you walk in so that you can drop those in the basket. And if you're not in that number, you can join that group at any time. It's real easy. Just do the text to give number and say monthly, and it will set up and do that gift monthly. So you can do that today. Or if you have a special gift today, we greatly appreciate it. We need all gifts to come in from all places and all sources to keep this place going and supported and doing the good work that we're doing in the world for these 45 years. That's amazing. 45 years. Yes. Yes. Inclusion and oneness and new thought and all of that good stuff for 45 years. So whatever your gift is today, we prepare it now. This is a time of giving and receiving. So we prepare to give, but we also prepare to receive by understanding and hearing and knowing how your gift is making a difference in the world. through the members of this community. So today's testimony is coming from Monique Garlington, who's on our board. She's our board president now. Madam President. Let's get used to saying that, Madam President. Madam President. Try it again, Madam President. I just want us to welcome Monique, if you understand what I'm saying. Madam President.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Monique Garlington. My pronouns are she and her, and I proudly serve on the board as president of the board at SLCA. And for me to stand here and say that I'm here and on the board as president, for me, it's just a testament and a testimony to the love of this community. When I first came to this community, I came out of a spiritual community that was really toxic. And I was spent emotionally, financially, spiritually. I just had nothing else to give. So when I moved to Atlanta and found this center, I just tipped in, listened to the message, and tipped out. I had commitment issues. I could not commit to anything. I couldn't even commit to taking classes. The most I could commit to was the book clubs, because I'm like, that's 6 weeks, and I love to read. I can dip in, read my book, and dip out. But, and there was no judgment there. You all just loved me. You loved me, and the love drew me in. And I came to trust this place, to see that it's fertile ground. This is good ground. This is a good place to sow into. And as I felt more and more comfortable, I started to take classes. I joined the adult study. There are people who miss me when I'm not there, and that's a good feeling, you know, to be loved and just valued for who you are. And as I started to take the classes and my strength and my commitment to this community grew, it was just just wonderful. I met friends in class. I remember one time I'm having just a day, you know, just one of those days, and I couldn't even hide it. I felt passed over for a directorship position that I wanted. And we're in class, and Reverend Jean just said, check in, how's everybody doing? Well, I just unloaded. And Jericho's texting me in class going, I'm feeling like, you know, you're feeling some victim. I'm like, well, yeah. So, but that's not, you know, that I leaned into that, but they reminded me of the truth. And then Reverend Jean said, what do you want? Do you want to stay at that company? Or what do you want? And I said, I want to be a director, but I know I'm not tied to this company. And she said, well, we're going to treat for that. 2 weeks later, I get a call from someone that I worked with 7 years ago. And this person said to me, I remember how you turned our product around. I work in IT as a product manager. I remember how you turned our product around. I'd love for you to come and work for us. And I said, listen, I'm not interested in coming for anything less than a director. I'm not interested in doing all these rounds of interviews, and I'm not coming for anything less than this. And he said, the president of the company said, well, we like to bring people in at this price, and then, you know, at this salary, and then as you, you know, prove yourself. I said, nope, I'm not interested in that. I'm happy to help you, you know, pro bono, just to give you some tips, but I'm not interested in that. The next day he called and said, you're a director, this is your salary, when can you start? And that's, yes. And that's because these principles work. And they work, as Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman says, if you work them. And as Reverend David says, how much of this can we have? As much as we can embody. So this center means so much to me, and I'm so proud to serve as president and to usher us into whatever that yet to be is for us. I'm so proud of that. But I can tell you to trust this place, trust our leadership. This is good ground. This is a good place to sow into. So I invite you to become a pledger if you're not. And if you're giving and you can give a little more, give. And if you're not a pledger but you want to give and give more consistently, please do that. Because this is a good place. As you can see, $11,000 through SLCA and the other centers around the globe for the hurricane, the folks who had issues coming through the hurricane. So this is a good place to sow into. So if you are interested in becoming a pledger, as you can see, we have ways to do that. And if you are ready now to join me in our Grateful Giving affirmation, I invite you to do so. So take your pledge cards or just hold your gifts to your heart and join me, please, as we say, I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Well, it's an idea whose time's come. A new generation decides as one of the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. The future of history is crystal clear. The borders between us will disappear. Of the same small planet we are born. There's no foreign countries anymore. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Well, some say I'm out of touch with the times. This world is no place for a vision like mine. Well, still I can see it, and still I believe there's too many lives on the line. There's so many lives on the line. We breathe the same air, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Thank you so much.
We give thanks for all of these gifts from the hearts and the hands that they are extended from and are connected to, all the gifts online, all the individuals watching now and in the future that have taken a moment to click that button and make a donation, and all that is coming into the storehouse in this space. I give thanks. I know that it's pressed down and overflowing to meet the needs of this community and beyond, and extend back out to each one of us as a power, as a love, as a vibration of inclusion and transformation. And for this and so much more, I'm truly grateful and thankful. And so it is. All right. Amen. We do indeed breathe the same air and drink the same water and walk the same earth. Listen, my shirt says inclusionist. I just came this weekend from Inclusion Conference with Bishop D.E. Paulk at Spirit and Truth Sanctuary in Decatur, and we had people from 20 different states and from Nigeria and London and all various places, and watching online as well, and a new inclusive coalition and movement that he is building and architecting, and I'm proud to be a part of. And so everything I hear is right now, because I'm still in that spirit, it's got a little Pentecost on it. It's got a little B3 and a little tambourine on it. So I'm like, yes, breathe the same air. Hallelujah. Right? because, and thank you again for all of your contributions and spreading the link. And indeed, as Jericho said, not only us here in this community, but this community being virtually everybody online. If I can speak to our community online, that $11,000 that came from Seattle and from California and from Texas and all over the place that people donated. And I put the link back up on social media today in honor of my birthday. If you want to make a $49 contribution to our Hurricane Relief Fund, that would be a beautiful way to honor me and say happy birthday, and because the need is still there. We're hearing from our ministers who live in Asheville, CSL ministers, Unity of Blue Ridge. I believe a tree went right through the minister's house. She was not there. And so we're hearing locally what the needs are for people connected to New Thought and beyond. And of course, teaming up with UUCA and with TFAM to make those connections and get that need, that resource where it needs to go. So thank you all again for all of that. It's very impressive. And what I want to say is a couple of years ago, this is actually right around the 2-year anniversary of when we did Water for Jackson. A storm hit Jackson, Mississippi, and there's a whole backstory if you don't know it, and talk offline about that. But the reason that the infrastructure was hit so badly, there's a lot of institutional racism and structural stuff going on there, and has been going on there for decades. And so it was a whole nother layer of not just the support of the water, but also what else we could do. And that kind of put us on the map. We raised over $20,000 for that. And so when this happened, both UUCA and the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, before we even had all of our stuff up, the link and stuff on the website to donate, they called us. They were organizing their efforts, but they called us and said, will you help? Right? We're going to do this, but we need you as a part, because they knew that we would mobilize resources, people, and whatnot. So just happy to be in those partnerships and that bridge and coalition building. So we are beginning a new series this month, Power to the People. Power to the people. All the power to all the people. Amen, somebody? All the power. So, one of the key elements of New Thought thinking is this idea that the power is within us. Our affirmation talks about the power within us, and to create that relationship with that power. That what we know is that when we do our inner work to create a relationship with that inner power, as Monique's testimony so beautifully illustrated, that power works. If you work the power works. There's a power within you. Ernest Holmes would say, there's a power within you greater than you are, and you can use it. There's a power within you. Why didn't I have a slide for that? That seems so obvious. There's a power within you greater than you are, and you can use it, right? And what's also true is that there's a power within you greater than you are, and you are using it. Consciously or unconsciously, whether you know it or not, you are using it. You have always been using it. And so the key is to come into a greater awareness of how I'm using it, right? How I'm directing it. And then to begin to see, perhaps have insight into, and that's what we're going to talk about today, ways and means by which we may have not been aware that we were using it, and have distanced ourselves from our power and have cut ourselves off. And what do we do to begin to reconcile and to heal so that we can take the next step in building that authentic power? Because we have to admit, as we enter into this space, even just the idea of power and even personal power is sort of a two-edged sword. We come at it from a very positive, uplifting mindset within New Thought, but often we are walking in circles where the rest of the world is like, hey, tone it down a little bit, right? Don't get too, too high up in that, personal power thing, especially when we're talking about religious spaces, right? Often the externalization or the anthropomorphication, did I get all of the syllables in that word? The projecting of humanness onto God, right? That the power is outside of us, the power is over there, right? And that we have to somehow become worthy. We have to become, made right. We have to belong to the right group. We have to do all of these things in order to access even just a little bit of that power. And so when we come along, New Thought, and say, well, I am the power, and I am God, and God is within me, and sometimes the world around us can kind of, look at New Thought folks and be like, tamper down a bit. Simmer down now, right? And so we have to come to an understanding about how we create that authentic power that's not an abusive, it's not a power to abuse or to manipulate over people or a power that puts us higher up on any kind of ladder above anybody else, but is an authentic power that is the power to heal and transform and change the world. It takes, in other words, it takes boldness to say, I'm one with God. Right? It takes a certain kind of spiritual audacity to claim that power and then to make ourselves available to use it. Thich Nhat Hanh, in his powerful work, The Art of Power is the book, he says, all of us want to be powerful and successful, but if our drive to get and maintain power drains us and strains our relationships, then we never truly enjoy our professional or material success. And it's simply not worth it. Living our life deeply and with happiness, having time to care for our loved ones, this is another kind of success, another kind of power, and it is much more important. There is only one kind of success that really matters, the success of transforming ourselves, transforming our afflictions, our fears, our anger. This is the kind of success, the kind of power that will benefit us and others without causing damage. That's the art of power, is that understanding that at the deepest level. And so, Ernest Holmes, this one I quote all the time. Of course, base really was the cornerstone, the seed idea behind my book, Freedom from Discord. Ernest Holmes says, the ultimate goal in life is the complete emancipation from discord of every nature, and that goal is sure to be attained by all. That goal is sure to be attained by all. He's talking about accessing a kind of power that is not for, this, when he says attained by all, that was the original title that I wanted for the book. Actually, it was called Attained by All. I was telling everybody it was called Attained by All. We were doing pre-sales under the name Attained by All. And then somebody attained it in an unscrupulous way on Amazon. And they told me I couldn't use it. They said, that's been taken. I said, it was attained by who? Well, I'm not one with them. I see. Anyway, but this attained by all is a kind of spiritual democracy that Ernest Holmes inserts into this brand of spirituality or philosophy of personal success that New Thought was known for. Because it's not just that you can understand how to use your words and affirmations and manifest your good and do all, as I like to say, what we used to say in the 80s, manifesting the 4 Ps, right? Princes, parking places, and palaces. Right? It's all wonderful. It's all good. You get yours if you need that. That's lovely. And there's more to it than that. And we find this thread throughout Ernest Holmes' writing in particular, I find, where he inserts these ideas of what I would call spiritual democracy, that it's not just that this power exists. It's not just that you can use it, but it's that it's available for everyone. It's available for all. It shall be attained by all. It won't be attained by the select few. It won't be attained by the chosen. It won't be attained by those that are saved or washed in this or dunked in that or dipped or sprinkled by the, right? It's not specialized. It's attained by all. So let's see if we can journey there together this month. And as I said, power can be a triggering word, right? Because each of us has a different experience with power. We can reduce the triggers by doing our inner work and creating a kind of, again, authentic, clean relationship with our personal power, which begins by going within to discover our beliefs around power, acknowledgement, forgiveness, compassion, all of those things that I inserted into the monthly affirmations so that we're affirming all of that together. That as I access that, I bring myself forward for inspiration, for transformation, all of those things, right? And we begin to heal that relationship. Healing our relationship with power creates a foundation for us to use in expressing our power. The safer we are with ourselves and power, the safer we are with others. Let me say that again. The safer we are with ourselves and power, the power that we have, then the safer we are with others. If we think of any of the spaces and places where we have experienced an abuse of power, whether that be through religion, whether that be through parenting, whether that be through relationships, whether that be through anything, whether verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual trauma, etc., what we could, if we were to sit and examine each of those incidences that may be in our collective experiences here today, what we would discover is that the individual who abused that power did not have a good relationship with power to begin with, right? They were not clean with their relationship with power. And that's why they forcefully abused it so readily on others, maybe including ourselves or some of us in this room, right? And so we understand, so the insight there is to not run from power. It's not to try to avoid having power, but rather it is to clean up or heal that relationship so that we have an authentic relationship with it, so that we are a safe place for others. Can we try to be a safe place for others? Yes. So in the Science Mind and New Thought, it invites us to kind of go within, to believe that not only what we pray, but where we pray from matters, that finding an inner space, an inner landscape that is connected to that power is the beginning of that blossoming journey with a greater relationship. Going within allows us to do our inner work in preparation for our outer expression, to engage in a process of self-awareness, self-discovery, right? Similar to the ways that we examine our beliefs and behaviors, whether it's around finances or relationship or anything else, right? We can do the same thing with power. And New Thought can be summarized a lot of different ways. And I have, this month we will do our last 10th class of the 10 core concepts at the end of the month. All of those are available on our New Thought Education site, and go back and watch the videos. And this came from a curriculum from a foundations class back in the 90s, and religious science, or the science of mind philosophy, was summarized in these kind of what they called 10 core concepts. And it's not active in the current curriculum right now, but it's really juicy stuff. It's good stuff. And so that's why I wanted to bring it, because it's a good way to examine. But one of the reasons that it's not active in the current versions of curriculum anymore is because we can make it so much simpler than that, right? I often like to say, if we summarize, if we did the Cliff Notes of Ernest Holmes, of the textbook, we could have a pamphlet. we could get that big thick book down real small, right? And there are Wayne Dyer's kind of work does that really well. There are others who have put in modern context. And what's sort of ironic about that is that that's what Ernest Holmes was doing in his time. Right, he was the Wayne Dyer of his day. He was summarizing a tremendous amount of wisdom and insight that was structured in language in ways from Emerson and Emma Curtis Hopkins and Troward and others, and he was trying to make it more palatable and accessible to people. And so that is kind of a tradition of ours. Well, how do I boil all of this down into a palatable, accessible way. So here's one of the ways I've done that over the years, to break it down to kind of 4 things, right? The basic ideas of New Thought. If you wanted to explain this to a friend, invite somebody for that anniversary that we're having, and say, what is this thing about on a Sunday afternoon? What are you guys doing over there? It's real easy, right? We try to keep it simple, right? Number 1, God is all there is. God is all there is. That's it. There's not 2 powers. There's not God and the devil. There's not this and that. There's just God is, whether you don't want to use the word of God, intelligence is all there is. Energy is all there is. Love is all there is. Power is all there is. Right? Energy is all that there is. Second one, consciousness is everything. Consciousness is everything. When we put 1 and 2 together, then that's the beginning of understanding that relationship of the power within us. Because I have consciousness, if God is all there is, or if love and intelligence is all there is, and consciousness is everything, and by that I mean consciousness is the way in which that which is all that there is moves in the world, right? Then me understanding my consciousness is the key to accessing that power. It's the key to accessing that awareness. My consciousness is the gateway to understanding that which is all that there is. You with me so far? That's just 1 and 2, right? Just God is all there is, infinite intelligence in the universe. Consciousness is the means by which, I just boil it down to consciousness is everything to keep it simple, but consciousness is the means by which that thing moves in the earth, right? Moves in creation. And therefore, the way that rolls together, as you roll around in those 2 things for a little bit, then we become to understand that, okay, through my consciousness, through my thoughts, through my ideas, through my affirmations, through my subconscious thinking and things that are rolling around, programming and stuff that is in there from childhood and long ago and all of that, and the secret things that I say that I don't tell anybody else, or the thoughts that I have right before I go to bed at night, or the first thing that I'm repeating over and over again when I'm in the shower or when I wake up in the morning. All of those things mixed together pop out through my consciousness, consciously or unconsciously, and begin to create or influence or shape the experience of what I see and feel and how I move in the world. In other words, I'm a co-creator of my reality. And it's very important to understand co-creator. Everybody say co-creator. I'm a co-creator. I'm a co-creator. I'm a co-creator because you're always using that power. Right? It's a slippery slope in New Thought, including sometimes in Ernest Holmes's language, as well as other New Thought or spiritual writers, to think that I am the creator of my experience. Anybody ever heard that? I'm the creator. I am the creator. I am the great, powerful Oz of the universe. I am the creator. Or as William was watching at the barbershop the other day, Voltron. It was from the 80s. You should have seen his face. We turned it on, and he was looking at it like, no, Daddy, I don't know what this is, but no, this ain't cool. This ain't hip. And then we turned it to Thundercats. You remember Thundercats? Yeah. Wild hair that they had. Anyway, right, but Avenger of the universe, I think is what Voltron said, right? So there's a lot of personalized language in that. And if you're coming from a victim state of consciousness, that's why that language is used. Because when you're coming from a place of feeling done to and to me and all of that, the world coming at me, and I've been victimized and I've got all these circumstances and conditions, then I need powerful language and powerful affirmations and powerful words that pull me out of that. And so claiming, kind of grabbing onto that emergency rope that will lift you out says, I am the creator of my experience. But even as we do that, as you claim that and as it lifts you out, so I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But what you're doing when you do that is you're using a power in the universe. And therefore, that power is responding to your state of awareness, of empowered living, of empowered being, of claiming your destiny and your authorship over your life and all of those different things, right? You're rising up in that, and the universe is meeting you where you're at. The universe is responding to your consciousness. And so what's happening there? You're claiming something, the universe is responding. You're claiming something, the universe is responding. You put those two things together, you're co-creating. The universe is working with you, through you, and as you. And so it becomes very important later on as we continue to develop and mature in our spiritual understanding that we have always been and always are co-creators. Otherwise, we kind of get into this space that I'll talk about in just a moment. The fourth one, let me finish these first. Number 4, everything is evolving, right? So the last one is just to and there are others that we could add to this, but these are just like first 4 basic kind of ideas to kind of say, well, what is this thing we're dealing with here when we talk about the power within us? Everything is evolving. You're evolving. You're not the same person you were when you walked in the door today. You're not the same person that decided to come to church today. You're not the same person that woke up this morning. You're certainly not the same person you were on your last birthday. Amen, somebody. I am somebody else. I am somebody else with a lot less hair, a few more pounds, hopefully a little bit more wisdom and humility and grace and understanding. We're evolving. We're shifting. We're growing in our understanding. And so everything is evolving. All of the conditions and circumstances around us, they're always evolving. And so we ought not get stagnant or fixed or fixated or stuck in our thought about the right way to do something, but to keep growing and to keep learning and to keep expanding. And what happens when we don't remember those last two, that we're co-creators and that everything is evolving, is that we tend to think that, well, then I created the ugly circumstances in my life, right? That I created, it comes up in every class. People will kind of go through this in basic foundations class, and then I call it the parade of yeah buts. How many people know what a yeah but is, right? Yeah but. It's all those thoughts. There's probably some bubbling up in the room even as I was sharing this other stuff. You were like, God is all there is. Yeah, but. It's all that stuff. Yeah, but what about this? What about that? What about war? What about environmental degradation? What about animal abuse? What about child abuse? What about Israel and Palestine? What about the Ukraine? And Russia? What about this and that and da-da-da? What about all these things? What about the Holocaust? Always comes up to cloud. What about the Holocaust? God is all there is. Consciousness is everything. We're co-creating our reality. What? Who created that? That's always the question. Who created that? And see, I grew up in this tradition. It's what I know as the totality of and the entry point, the complete entry point of my spiritual quest and as a spiritual being. And so I remember early on in my ministry, people would have that question in class. They say, what about this? What about that? Who created that? I'll kind of look at them confused. Say, I'm sorry, did we miss something? Right? Let's go back to the beginning. God is all there is, right? Consciousness is everything. It's moving through me, right? I'm a co-creator of shared reality of the world, and everything's evolving. What did you miss that you think someone or something else created that thing, or that experience, or that condition, or that state of disease, or war, or poverty, or isms of the world, all the mess, all the stuff, whether it's personal or collective? How could it have come from something else other than God is all there is, consciousness is everything, I'm a co-creator? Because you see, the moment and everything's evolving. Now, that means, that thing is evolving, but it's evolving through what? Our consciousness, because God is all there is, and consciousness is everything. And so we can say things are created in error. Have you ever created something in error? Hey, come on. Tell the truth to shame the devil in here. Come on. You ever pulled something out of the oven and go, that ain't it. I don't know what I did wrong. I looked at the instructions, but that ain't it. You tasted something like, oh, Lord Jesus, no, just put it straight in the trash. Not even the dog is going to get that. We can create in error. We can be co-creators and mess some things up because we didn't understand, because we didn't get it, because we got, what's the one I was, baking soda instead of baking powder? You know, you did something wrong. You did cream cheese instead of sour cream. Come on, somebody, testify that you done messed up some recipes in your life. Can't be the only one up here, right? Oh, salted instead of sugar? My God, that will just make all kinds of things, yeah, right? And so things have been created out of whatever level of understanding we had at the time. And the other important aspect of that questioning about the yeah buts is that we tend to think of ourselves as separate from those people that created that awful thing. Like, well, how did those people mess up so badly? Well, I don't know, but right now I just want to know how you think you're separate from them. Because God is all there is. Consciousness is everything. So we are one with all of that. We like to just be one with the good stuff, with the good recipes and the good results. And we like to be one with our own current understanding and not our erred understanding of yesterday, right? But we're one with all of it, which means we're accountable and responsible to all of it. And so if it's in the world, which means it is a byproduct of consciousness and intelligence, or lack thereof, but intelligence at whatever level of its current understanding, then we are connected to and responsible for it, and we can shift it through the same power. You see, the moment we cut ourselves off and say, well, if those people over there would just think different, if those people over there would just do things differently, if those people over there would just vote differently, if those people over there just wouldn't think that they're superior, if those people over there wouldn't treat people so badly, if those people over there, and we separate ourselves and say, but I've got it figured out because I understand my oneness with God. Not very well in this moment, I don't think, right? You see, the moment we do that, the moment we pull ourselves away and out and separate from the pain of the world, the isms of the world, the chaos of the world, the trauma of the world, the moment we pull ourselves out as separate and distinct from that, we have actually cut ourselves off from our power. Our real power is in the vulnerability of connection and knowing that I'm in relationship with all of those things. And I have something that I can do about those things. As we demonstrated with the $11,000, I may not have all the money that everybody needs to get back to their house and to make everything okay, but maybe I got $49, and maybe somebody else does, and maybe a whole bunch of other people do, and maybe together that makes $11,000, right? I can do something in this moment. I can pray and move my feet. I can move my awareness. I can every time I take a drink of water, I can think about those who need water. I can have it move through my body, that my body is connected to the body of the earth. I can know and affirm that I drink the same air, drink the same water, breathe the same air, walk the same earth. I can affirm that every time so that I'm a living prayer. I can access that power. Are you beginning to feel that? So that things begin to shift through my spiritual practice, through my embodiment, through my walk. I'm not cut off from that power. I'm connected to that power. So my life becomes a living demonstration of it. And all I have to do is just do my part. I just have to do my part. I don't have to do any more than anybody else or any less than anybody else. I just have to do what is mine to do, to serve, to show up, to circulate, to remember that I'm a member of this one body. You following what I'm saying? Emma Curtis Hopkins says it this way: truth heals. Truth heals. When we understand the truth of who we are, then it heals all conditions. When you understand the wholeness that you are, it heals everything. When you understand the power that you're connected to, then it heals everything. How does it heal? It moves you into compassion. It moves you into action. It moves you into whatever the right action is for yourself or for other people and the people that you are connected with. It moves you. Truth heals. But in order to heal, you have to trust. faith is connected to trust. What is it that you have faith in? Thich Nhat Hanh says, you need to have confidence that you have the capacity to become a Buddha, the capacity to become a Christ, the capacity of transformation and healing. Faith is knowing that you have a path that leads to your freedom, liberation, and transformation of the affliction. Oh, that's so good. You need to have confidence that you have the capacity to become a Buddha, the capacity to become a Christ, the capacity to transform and heal. Faith is having a path that leads you to freedom, liberation, and transformation of the affliction. This morning at Spirit and Truth Sanctuary, D.E. Paulk had me come up and participate in the communion, of serving of communion. He said, I want you to do what you did during my ordination, which I served them communion for him coming into his bishopric. And the piece that he wanted, and I did, for the community there was to remind everybody that communion is a metaphysical experience. Right? It's less a religious ritual than it is a metaphysical experience of ingesting and remembering and becoming one with a power greater than we are. It's a very new thought idea, actually. I know the language is taking it to this kind of weird spiritual cannibalism thing, but it is an ingestion and a remembering of, I am one with this power that's greater than me. And in the Seder tradition that Jesus the Christ came from in the upper room when he had his disciples, he took the elements of the Seder dinner, and they had the bitter root, which reminded them of the bitter past and the journey of that they had been on as a people. And when the bread was referred to as the bread of affliction, the bread of affliction. And so when he takes it and he says, now take this bread and break it. Remember that Christ is within you. Remember that there is a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. Remember that this God presence is in you. When I leave, remember that I'm not special because it's in you. You can demonstrate this. You can be this love. You can transform the world. Remember this and break the affliction. When you remember who you are, you break the affliction. When you remember your Christ nature, you break the affliction. The affliction is the idea that I'm separate from my good. The affliction is the idea that I don't have the power, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resource, I don't have the worthiness, I don't belong, All of those things are afflictions that are moving through our consciousness. And the master teacher said, break the affliction. Break it. And then you eat it, you ingest it, and then it becomes part of you. You remember who you are. It becomes your fingernails and your hair and your eyebrows and your teeth and your shedding skin. Have the confidence that you have the capacity to become a Buddha, the capacity to transform and heal, that you have a path that can lead you to freedom and liberation. Here, we say it this way. You belong because you are. And because you are, you belong. You belong to the universe. Ernest Holmes says, you belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius. Penelope. And practitioners, come forward. We'll wrap this thing up. Say, land the plane, Rev. Because I've been in Pentecostal services for the last 3 nights. I can go for a minute. You belong to the universe. Hear these words. Take a breath. You belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are a part of it as the sun and the earth and the air. There's something inside of you telling you this. Like a voice echoing from some mountaintop of inward vision, like a light whose origin no one has seen before, like an impulse welling up from an invisible source. You belong to the universe in which you live. Because you are, you belong. And you belong because you are. Your nature, your essence is one with the divine power, creative genius back of the universe. All the intelligence of the universe is flowing through you. All of the love of the universe is flowing through you, that which brought forth the majesty of the trees and the oceans and the stars and nature and you and a newborn baby and a beautiful sunset is within you. You are the stardust looking back on itself. You are the manifestation of this infinite intelligence of creation. Open yourself to it. Remember that you are one with it. Allow yourself to be healed and transformed by that remembering, that it dissolve any sense of separateness, any affliction of disconnection that resides within you, whether it is through the thoughts or the memories of abuse or disempowerment of any kind, or it is lingering in the thoughts of not enoughness or loneliness or isolation or unworthiness. Let this moment of remembering bring you back and dissolve all that would keep you from accessing the true nature of who and what you are. That you have the capacity to heal whatever needs to be healed. You have the capacity to transform whatever needs to be transformed. And you have the capacity to co-create with this power that is greater than you are, the life that you imagined for yourself. A life of goodness, a life of wholeness, a life of joy and prosperity, a life of dynamic health and well-being, a life of unlimited gifts that are flowing through you to touch lives, to put you in the right place at the right time, to manifest your destiny, to bring forward your creative capacities so that you might be a blessing. And in turn, you might receive the blessing of the universe, because everything is connected, because God is all there is. Consciousness is flowing through you. You're co-creating your experience, and you are constantly evolving. This is the beginning of our journey to take our power back, to remember all of the power to all of the people. It is in our hands to create a world that works for everyone. And I'm truly grateful and thankful for this day, for this moment, for this community, for this opportunity to connect, to serve, to grow, to give. Thank you, God. And so it is. Thank you all. Peace and blessings.
Let's sing. Let's sing. Let's sing about it. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Reverend David. Happy birthday, sir. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone. have a bite to eat together and enjoy the workshop, the afternoon workshop with Tony.